Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching SAMAA News. Here are today's headlines. President Donald Trump has said that the United States is pursuing a great deal with Iran, but warned that failure to reach an agreement could lead to renewed military action. Speaking to Fox News, Trump has said that he would prefer a diplomatic solution because it would save a lot of lives. He has maintained that the Strait of Hormuz could be reopened immediately if a deal is signed. The US president has cautioned that if negotiations fail, the US would go back and finish it off militarily. US President Donald Trump has revised a proposed framework aimed at ending the war with Iran and sent the updated draft back to Tehran for consideration. According to the New York Times, the US officials have stated that Trump was disappointed by Iran's delayed response and continues to have concerns about certain provisions in the proposed deal. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq has firmly rejected speculation that Pakistan may join the Abraham Accords, reiterating that Islamabad's position on Palestine and Israel remains unchanged until an independent Palestinian state is established. Speaking during a media briefing at Pakistan's embassy in Washington, Dar said there could be no flexibility in Pakistan's long-standing policy on the Palestinian issue. Dar said there were a lot of rumours going on related to the Abraham Accords, making it clear that Pakistan's stance is very clear and consistent on the issue. On the other hand, US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has warned that Washington is ready to restart attacks on Iran if diplomacy fails, while urging Asian allies to sharply increase defense spending to counter China's growing military power. Speaking at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, Hegseth said the United States remained capable of resuming operations against Iran, even as it continued to focus on security challenges in the Asia-Pacific region. Hegseth said negotiators from Washington and Tehran were still trying to bridge major differences blocking a deal. US Central Command says American forces have disabled another commercial vessel accused of violating the naval blockade on Iranian ports. According to CENTCOM, the merchant ship Lian Star ignored multiple warnings while heading toward Iran, prompting a US aircraft to strike its engine room with a Hellfire missile. The US says it has now disabled 5 vessels and redirected more than 100 others as the ceasefire with Iran remains in place. On the other hand, Iran has reaffirmed its control over the Strait of Hormuz, warning commercial and military vessels to follow its navigation rules. Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya central headquarters says ships must use designated routes and obtain permission from the Revolutionary Guard Navy, while cautioning that any interference with maritime operations could trigger a response. Qatar has rejected the idea of permanent transit fees for ships using the Strait of Hormuz, warning such costs would ultimately be passed on to consumers worldwide. However, Qatari officials say temporary charges linked to activities such as mine clearing could be negotiable as regional discussions over the strategic waterway continue. Meanwhile, fighting has intensified along the Israel-Lebanon border despite a US-backed truce, with smoke rising across southern Lebanon and rockets exchanged between the two sides. Benjamin Netanyahu says Israeli forces have advanced north of the Litani River, while efforts continue in Washington to secure a broader peace deal and disarm Hezbollah. Pete Hegseth has also told reporters that the United States, Britain and Australia are working together to develop unmanned undersea vehicles as part of their trilateral AUKUS defence pact. The programme comes under AUKUS's so-called Pillar 2 to develop advanced defence technology including quantum computing, undersea, hypersonic, artificial intelligence and cyber technology. He said the signature project will deliver a suite of highly adaptable, multi-mission UUV payloads designed to support undersea operations and maintain our collective advantage in the maritime domain. Meanwhile, Trump's physician has said in a memo released by the White House that the president remains in excellent health, citing results from an examination this week that indicated the 79-year-old continues to experience slight lower leg swelling and benign hand bruising. Dr. Sean Barbabella wrote in the memo that the president remains in excellent health, demonstrating strong cardiac, pulmonary, neurological, and overall physical function, adding, "Trump is fully fit to carry out all duties of the Commander-in-Chief and Head of State." Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has called for greater international support to combat the spread of Ebola virus disease during a visit to the hardest-hit region of Democratic Republic of the Congo. Speaking in Bunia, capital of Ituri province, the World Health Organization chief has said that the international community was assisting the Congolese government, stressing that more support was needed to contain the deadly outbreak. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.sammaa.tv. Thank you for watching SAMAA News.